Okay, the next point is lack of coordination between government department and solution developers. Okay, so designing any application, let me write down here. So design, when we design something, we need a close interaction, right? So designing of any application requires a very close interaction between the government department and the agency developing the solution. Now, currently the users in the government departments do not make any efforts to design the solution or the architecture, and the solution developed and implemented does not address the requirements of the e-governance. So they don't find anything, there is no coordination, and that is why the projects are also slow and nothing gets implemented. So there is no interaction, and that is why there is no lack of coordination also. No solution is developed and implemented, and it doesn't address the requirements of the e-governance project also, and hence what happens, it doesn't get implemented. Let's see the next point, the fifth point. Okay, resistance to re-engineering of departmental processes. Okay, now many experts have stated that in order to implement e-governance projects successfully, executives must make efforts in restructuring in administrative processing and administrative procedures, and there must be a perfect format for it also. Okay, so moreover, there is a lack of expertise. So let me write down here, there is a lack of experts or expertise of departments in management information system, okay, in order to exploit data mining. So there is no expert who can exploit the data mining technologies. Okay, so there is no people who are experts who know about the management information system, or they can exploit the data mining technology, or updating and collection of real-time content onto the website. So therefore, this various e-governance portals is very unreliable. It's full of gaps. Some information is not there. It's very incomplete, and it is very difficult for any e-governance solution to accomplish, because there is no anticipated results also, and there are a lot of gaps in fulfilling the project. Okay, so that is why there is resistance, and nobody is re-engineering, and nobody is having an expertise in data mining. Okay, let's see the next one, the sixth point. So lack of infrastructure for sustaining e-governance projects on national level. Okay, so in Indian scenario, the infrastructure to support the e-governance initiatives does not exist with government departments. Nobody is taking the initiative, especially in the government departments, And the most frustrating fact is that government departments are not prepared in any position to project the clear requirements or the guidelines for involving any private sectors. Okay, so that is what is happening. There is no e-governance on national level. Okay, so the government departments are also not prepared. They don't know how to merge with the private sectors. The project requirement is not clear. Okay, so and that is why, let me write down here, the infrastructure creation is not guided by a constant national policy, but is dependent on the needs of individual officers, with few projects. Okay, so therefore there must be networking and requirement of communication. In all the departments there must be e-governance projects. And most of the state governments have established this e-task force also, and they have this IT policy space. But although policies may have a lot of goals around, but it seems that there is no automation and computerization. Okay, and the disadvantages of these IT policies are that they are not based on the requirements, or on they are not included the entire project or the capabilities of the state. And these projects, or whichever you are seeing the e-governance, they are only based on surveys and strategies which are used by other nations and not about India. Okay, so now e-governance, now this was the disadvantage. Let us talk about the interaction of e-governance between stakeholders. Okay, so let me just write this. Okay, so interaction between various stakeholders. Okay, so e-governance, it enables the interaction between different stakeholders and governance. Okay, so what are stakeholders? The ones who are depending on the government, or they have put their money or their energy towards the government. So they are the stakeholders, and they are liable to understand what is going on in the government. Okay, so the first one is G2G. What do you mean by this? Government to government. Now what is this? Let me explain. Now in this interaction, information and communications technology is used to reorganize the governmental policies, okay, or processes. You can write processes involved in the functioning of government entities. Which are the government bodies? So government bodies, as well as to increase the flow, as well as, let me write down here, to increase the flow of information. So that is why these government entities, because they want to increase the functioning of the government bodies, as well as they want to increase the flow of information and services between the different bodies. So government to government means different government sectors should have a free flow of information through technology, and there must be good services between each government department. Okay, Now, government, as I said, Gregory is a famous economist in 2007 indicated that G2G is the online communications between government organizations, departments, and agencies based on super government database. So there must be super government database. Now, this kind of interaction, let me write down. Let me continue explaining this point. Now, this kind of interaction happens horizontally, such as between different government agencies, okay, as well as between different functional areas, okay, within an organization, or it can also be vertical, such as between national, provincial, and local government agencies, or as well as in different levels within an organization. So main intent of this interaction is to increase the efficiency. So let me say increase the efficiency, okay, increase the efficiency, performance, and output. So two things are there. The main intent of this interaction is, as I said, to increase the efficiency, then the performance, and the output. Now coming to the next type of interaction, and this is very easy for you to imagine which one should it be. So yes, the next one is G2C. So G2C, that is government to citizens. Now this is what G2C maintains a relationship between the government and the citizens. Let me write down here. It allows citizens to access government information and services promptly, conveniently, from everywhere by use of multiple channels. Okay, so multiple channels are there. So these channels, okay, so government to citizens model have been designed to facilitate the citizens interaction within the government, and interface is generated between the government and the people that enables the citizens to benefit from efficiency delivery of any public service. Okay, now this expands the public service also, so it's a very important point also. Okay, now coming to the next one, let's go to the third one. Yes, G2B. Okay, so G2B, that is government to business. Okay, now in this type of interaction, the e-governance tools are used to develop or help the business organizations that provide goods and services to the various governments. Okay, so let me write down here, G2B can bring significant efficiencies to both governments and businesses. Now G2B includes